Okay, so sit yourself on your lift and bring yourself up into a good cross leg position. Just have a little wriggle about, just make sure that you feel evenly placed, and then just hold onto your knees and lift and open the chest. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Just look down at the floor, look at something that's not moving. Just spend a few moments just listening to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Allow the eyes to settle on something that doesn't move so that the eyeballs remain still in the sockets. And then release your knees. Bring your hands into Namaste. Feel that you extend from the armpits into the elbows. Push the elbows towards each other so that the heel of the hands are making really good contact. And then lengthen your fingers up towards the ceiling. And with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Fill in your lungs from the bottom of the top to the top, and feeling that the air that inflates the lungs can percolate into the blood. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. And then very gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees as you hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area. And then as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold on to your knees, lift and open your chest. Try and really elevate the front chest upwards, drawing the trapezius muscle down your back. So the front chest elevates, the back chest draws downwards. Try not to push the abdomen forwards as you activate that downward action of the back. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side. Turn in your abdomen and your ribs and your shoulders. Just listening to the sound of the breath. And then come back to the center, lift and open the chest, drive your spine upwards. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Drawing the abdomen across, just waking the spine up with the turn. Using the out breath to intensify that turn. And then come back to the center. Just come off your lift, but just stay in cross legs and get a block either side of your hips if you can. If you've got two blocks, or just one side, one at the right side if you've only got one. And then we're just going to do sukhasana. So sitting directly on the floor, lift and open the chest. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation and then reach around the underside of the right knee. Bring your elbow down onto the elbow. Bring the left hand onto the hip. Press that right elbow into the floor and then try and lengthen the left buttock bone away from that right elbow. Turn the chest to face the ceiling. Try and keep that left seat bone firmly placed down and then reach up, keeping that left seat bone reach in deep contact with the floor. So try and press down into the left buttock bone, pushing the right elbow into the floor, lengthening the left buttock bone away from that right elbow. So you feel that tremendous stretch along the left side of the ribs of the abdomen. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees. Take a deep inhalation and then with a block underneath the elbow on the left side, reach underneath the left knee, turn the chest, bring your right hand onto the hip for the moment. Again, push that left elbow into the floor and then try and lengthen this right buttock bone away from that left elbow. Turn the chest up to face the ceiling and then reach up and over. So it's that paschimottanasana stretch, isn't it? Pressing that right buttock bone into the floor, feeling that intense stretch of the right side of the abdomen and the ribs and the armpit. Just breathing nice and evenly. And then come back to the center. Just change the way that you're crossing your legs. So crossing your legs in the kind of a natural way, if you like. Just hold onto your knees, lift and open the chest. So we're going to go over to the right side one more time. So bring the elbow down onto the right side, holding onto the underside of the right knee. Press that left buttock bone down as you turn the chest up to face the ceiling. And then lift the arm and reach over, but keep that left side stretching down into that left buttock bone. So it's when the left side, the left buttock bone becomes lighter that you lose the stretch. So in order to intensify that stretch, push the right elbow into the floor and lengthen the left buttock bone away from that right elbow. Breathe evenly. And then come back to the center. Just hold onto your knees, just stretch into the middle. Take a deep inhalation and then come back over to the left. Drawing the chest across and then reaching over, pressing that right buttock bone deeply into the floor. And then come back to the center. Just swap the way that you cross your legs again. Get a couple of blocks in front of you. If there's problems with your back, then just do normal Adho Mukha virasana. Otherwise, just be in cross legs or in half padmasana, and then have the blocks in front of you, and then just start to walk the blocks away. So you keep the hands on the blocks. Of course, you can come down onto the floor, but using the blocks gives you more space to lift into the chest. So lift and open the chest. So if you're coming forwards, Ian, like that, then put a belt around your feet and then hold onto the belt. So you do dandasana. So lift and open the chest, driving the spine forwards, maintaining this lift of the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone. Just coming forwards a little more. Just bringing your head down a little. If you've got a third block, you can rest your head on that third block. Pushing the hands into the blocks. Just breathing evenly and deeply. And then come back to the center. Just stretch your legs out. And then get the belt and then wrap the belt around your feet. And then, why is it so dark in here? Wrap the belt around your feet and then lift the chest. Working state. Lift the chest. So have the feet, you can have the feet slightly apart just to give you space in the hips. Lift and open the chest. Just breathing evenly. If there's problems with your back, just stay at this stage. If there's not, then lengthen the front chest. Drawing the back chest inwards and then come forwards into Dandasana. So stretch around, reach around the feet, around the belt, lift and open the chest. If you can reach the feet, then take hold of the feet, press the legs deeply into the floor, press the kneecaps through to the backs of the knees, lifting the chest. So stretching out the hips, stretching out the gluteus muscles, lifting and opening the chest. You can bend your elbows out to the sides, but keep the front chest lifted. And then come back to the center, and then come back into cross legs and lift and open the chest. And then bring the feet into baddhakonasana. So hold on to the big toes and lift and open the chest. My battery's just run out on my light, so hope you can still see what I'm doing. Lift and open the chest. Press the heels together. Lengthen the spine upwards. And then again, if there's no problem with your back, gently pressing the heels together, come forwards. Again, you can use those blocks for your hands, just walking the hands forwards, lifting the chest. Breathe in evenly And deeply as you come forward, keeping the tailbone down as you come forward. Soften the jaw and the tongue and the throat. And then come back to the center. Just stretch your legs out in front. So just stretching your legs away. Just come into Dandasana for a moment. Push into the legs. Push the heels away. Pull the toes towards your kneecaps and turn the thighs inwards. Tighten the kneecaps. Press the kneecaps through to the backs of the knees. Have your hands at the sides of the hips. And then elevate the chest up out of the hips. Turn the tailbone outwards towards or away from the legs. Lift the chest and then raise your arms. So the more you activate the legs, the more you can lift the chest, the more you can stretch into the little finger side. And then release. So if in lots of ways, that is the same as dog down, but in dog down, perhaps it feels different because gravity feels different. Just sit back on your heels for a moment. Just let the legs release into the floor, into the mat. Just breathe in nice and evenly. Lift and open the chest. So one of the things that we lose in dog down is this lift of the chest. It often becomes more like this. So find where your sternum bone is. Your sternum bone is that kind of hard bone that comes from the kind of just is underneath the chin, if you like, and then it walks down and it comes down into the when it disappears, you kind of meet the diaphragm. So I want you to consciously lift that sternum bone upwards, drawing your shoulders down. So there's that feeling of lifting in the front chest, and the back chest is descending. The shoulder blades are drawing in towards the front chest. So then come on to all fours, spread the fingers, have your little fingers as wide apart as the mat to start off with. Spread in the palms, turning the toes under, and then come up into dog down. Taking deep inhalations, deep exhalations. So just like we were doing in Dandasana, turn the fronts of the thighs. Turn the inner knees towards the wall behind you. Press the fronts of the kneecaps through to the backs of the knees. Press the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. Breathing evenly and deeply. And then swing the hips forward, come up into dog. Up, lifting that front chest, pushing into the heels. So stay on the tiptoes, push the heels away, keep the legs away from the floor, and then scoop the abdomen forward and up towards the diaphragm, towards the collarbone, towards the chin. Draw the crease of the elbows to face the front. Keep the palms flat in the floor. And then come back into dog down. And then into dog up, swinging the hips forwards, lifting and opening the chest, pushing into your heels, drawing the crease of the elbows to face the front, lift and open the chest. Breathing evenly. And then back up into dog down. Excuse me. So keep that front chest lifted as you were doing in Dandasana. Push the legs into the imaginary floor behind the thighs, as if you're doing Dandasana. Okay, and then stretch and walk the feet forwards. Just come up into a standing position, and then come up into dog down, into Tadasana. Just breathing gently in through the nose and out through the nose. Listening to the sound of the breath. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards the chest, and then step or jump your feet apart. Turn the left toes in, the right leg and foot all the way out, and then open the pelvis by turning the legs outwards so that the inner thighs reach around to the outer thighs, so that the outer edge of this back foot especially comes onto the floor, the outer edge of this front foot comes onto the floor, and then turn the chest to face the front. And then maintaining that rooting action of that back foot, pressing the outside edge of that back foot into the floor, opening the front of the pelvis, come down into trikonasana, turning the chest. Remembering you can place the feet to accommodate stiff or uncomfortable hips. Breathing evenly, push into the heel of that left foot, the outer edge of the foot, but keeping the big toe really firm on both feet, pressing into the floor. So stretching out our legs, lifting from the hips up into the hips. Oh, that didn't make any sense, did it? Heels up into the hips, hips up into the chest, chest out into the arms. Observe how your arms are working. Does it feel like there's kind of you're collapsing down into this bottom arm, or can you reach up into the top arm? Reach up, come back to the center, swap your feet around, turn the right toes in and the left leg and foot out. Just release your hands for a second. Just really place the feet precisely, and then turn these inner thighs outwards so that that outer edge of the foot presses into the floor, but keep the big toe active so you don't kind of roll outwards. So keeping the pelvis open, lifting up into the chest, and then extending into both arms. So in dog down, what often happens is that you kind of collapse into this bottom arm. But in this stage of trikonasana, then we lengthen out into the arms evenly from the spine. So maintain that even extension out from the spine into both arms. Find the shin, but then press from the heels into the hips, into the chest, and then lengthen out evenly from the spine into both arms. So this top arm becomes lighter. Just breathing evenly and deeply, turning the chest to face the ceiling. Listening to the sound of the breath, just stretching out the legs. And then bring the top hand down, bend that left knee if you need to. Bring the top hand down onto the inside of the left foot. Turn that back leg out, bring the other hand down onto the floor, and then step back into dog down. Just lifting the legs, lifting the chest, maintaining that action of Dandasana. Urdhva Mukha Dandasana. The legs are hitting away from the floor into an imaginary floor. If you were sitting on the floor, your legs would be pressing into the floor. So press them into that imaginary floor. The chest could lift. The shoulder blades move in. Reaching into the fingertips. And then just come down onto your heels. Just sit on your feet for a moment. Just enjoy that sensation of release in the legs as you sit in Adho Mukha virasana. Just wriggle into the hips so that the outer gluteus muscle kind of comes into the inside of the heel, and lift and open the chest, and then hinging at the hips. Come forwards, keeping the back straight as you come forwards, letting the pivot in action come from the hips, not from the back. Keep the front chest lifted as you come down, stretching your arms forward, keeping the front chest lifted, trying to keep the seat bones down, listening to the sound of the breath, and then come down onto your forehead. Even inhalations, even exhalations. Even inhalations, even exhalations. And then release your arms, push your hands into the floor, and then come up into just sitting back on your heels. And then just come down onto your back and come into supta baddhakonasana, just to again open up the front of the hips. Just coming down onto the back, letting the back rest into the floor. Interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then extend your arms along the floor. If there's stiffness in your shoulders, put a blanket or some blocks underneath your hands. If there's stiffness in your hips, put some blocks underneath the outsides of the thighs, just to support the hips. Otherwise, just using the straight line of the floor, just breathing evenly, drawing the tailbone inwards, lengthening the abdomen towards the spine, pressing the feet consciously and firmly together, tucking the tailbone inwards so the lumbar becomes rested, broadening from the belly button to the abdominal walls on both sides. And then very gently release the arms. Just bring the hands onto the lower ribs. just resting for a moment or two. Just let the pose become a little more passive. Just releasing into the floor for a moment or two. And then gently draw your knees together. Have your knees together, the feet apart for a moment, just to rest out the hips. And then draw your knees in towards your chest, just a little rock from top to bottom, from side to side. And then bring the feet down, feet together, knees together, just feet pressing into the floor. And then bend your right knee in towards the chest. Just get hold of the right foot and then bring the right foot across so that it's sitting close to the onto the top of the left thigh. Bring that heel, if you can, into the inner pelvic bone on the left side, and then hold onto the foot and then lengthen that knee away. So Ian, I know you can't get that foot all the way there, so you can just bring the foot onto the inside to the top of the knee, and then just work to lengthen that thigh of the bent leg, or the both of the bent actually, aren't they? The right thigh, lengthen that thigh away from the pelvis. Otherwise, just try and get that foot into the inner pelvic bone, and then lengthen that right leg away from the body. And then soften that right leg. So Ian, you can stay at this stage if you want to, or you can kind of move into the next stage. You draw the left knee in towards the chest, grip around the left knee with the hands, and then draw that left knee in towards the body so that the gluteus muscle on the right side gets a good stretch. Just breathing evenly and deeply. At the same time, if the foot is in the abdomen, then the abdomen is getting a good massage. And then release, and then swap. Just bring the feet back together, knees back together. I'm going to swap over in a moment. And then bring that left knee in towards the body, get hold of that left foot, bring the left foot over the right thigh, bringing the heel into the inner pelvic bone if you can. Holding onto that foot, then lengthen the left thigh away from the body, just so that you kind of open up in the inner groin. And then release that leg, and then bend in the right leg, hook the hands behind the right knee, and then draw that right knee in towards the body. So it's the supta, kapotasana, the reclining pigeon. So you get a good stretch at the backs of the thighs and in the gluteus muscle. Again, the abdomen gets a good massage with the foot. And then just release the right leg, and then just release the knees, and then bring the knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then rock yourself up into a seated position, and then just stretch your legs out in front. So I'm gonna sit forwards you just sit kind of long ways along your mat, but just so you can see what I'm doing, I'm just going to sit here. So you might, if at this stage, sitting directly on the floor, just roll over, move the buttock flesh out to the side on both sides. If at this stage it's difficult to lift the chest, then sit on a folded blanket. So give yourself a little bit of extra height, lift and open the chest. And then have a couple of blocks where you can reach them, and have a belt where you can reach it. So we can do janu sirsasana, a good forward bend. So you can keep your right leg where it is, and then get hold of the underside of the left knee, and then try not to disturb the seat bones as you do. Bring that foot as though you're going to go into virasana, the tree pose. So you bring the sole of the foot along the inside thigh of the right leg. So if this knee is kind of floating up in the air, then you should give it some support. Just support the head of the knee with a block, and then get your belt and throw your belt around the foot, and then push your foot really firmly into the belt. Hold onto the belt with both hands and turn the chest so that the chest begins to face that right leg. Lift and open the chest. Now, bad backs, you might just want to stay here. Lifting and open the chest. So that again, that lift of the chest is really important. The descending action of the back is really important. If you can come forwards without any back problems, then just creep the hands a little closer to the foot, and then reset the front chest. Extend the front chest upwards, drawing the back chest downwards. So after every breath or two, just come a little bit closer to the foot. If you can reach the foot, then take hold of the foot and then lift the chest. So keeping the chest lifted all the time, just a little bit at a time, keeping this leg firmly in Tadasana so that this right leg is turning, the thigh is turning inwards of the front of the leg, reaching up into the chest. And then just coming forwards. Try not to drop the head to find the leg. Keep the chin extending to the foot. And when the chest is in contact with the thigh, then you can bring your head down. But try not to let the shoulder blades bulge outwards as you bring the head down. Breathing evenly and gently. So whichever stage you're at, continue to work that leg. Press the thigh into the floor, press the front of the knee into the back of the knee. Turn the thigh inwards, the front of the thigh inwards, the back of the thigh outwards. So good leg stretch. But also this forward bend is really good for the liver and for the kidneys. And then lift the head, release the leg, and then come back to the center. Just stretch both legs out, and then just reset. Just move the buttock flesh out of the way. Just lift and open the chest, drive the spine upwards. This time I'll show you this way so you can see me coming forward. So just lift up into the chest, driving the spine upwards. And then Get your hand into the back of the right knee. Try not to disturb the seat bones, and then bring that foot as high up into the thigh as you can towards the perineum, like you were doing tree pose. Turn this thigh, the front of the thigh, sweep it across from the little toe side to the big toe side. The same with the shin. And then lift and open the chest. Get hold of the belt and then throw the belt around your foot. Turning the thigh inwards. Hold onto the belt and then elevate the spine upwards. Turn the chest to face that straight leg. Just breathing evenly. Pressing the front of the thigh through to the back of the thigh, lifting up into the chest. And then just a little bit at a time, come forwards, but not at the expense of this, of rounding the back, keeping the front chest lifted and long, just coming forwards a little bit at a time, but all the time pressing that straight leg firmly into the floor, turning that front thigh from the little toe side to the big toe side, lifting the chest, lifting the front chest. So a little bit at a time, come forwards. If you can reach around the foot, then do. Keep that leg straight. Press that leg, that straight leg into the floor. Keep lifting the chest. Try not to drop your head so that you round the shoulders inwards, or round the shoulders outwards. Draw the shoulder blades in. Lengthen the chin to the toes. When the chest is in contact with the leg, then can release the leg, the head. Just breathing evenly and deeply. So again, a good liver and kidney stretch. And then lift the head, release the foot, and then stretch both legs out in front, come back into Dandasana, lift and open the chest. Just observe how your mind becomes quieter after forward bending. And then just bring the legs into swastikasana, into cross legs. Again, if you struggle to lift the chest, then sit on a folded blanket, hold onto your knees, lift and open the chest, drawing your shoulders down. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side with the exhalation. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift and open the chest, drive the spine upwards, take a good strong deep inhalation through the nose. And then turn to the left, drawing your abdomen across, your ribs across, your shoulders across. Breathing evenly and deeply. And then come back to the center. Just come down onto your back. We're going to go up into Setu Bandha. If you're not doing Setu Bandha today, then actually I've just looked at the time. Maybe we'll just do Viparita Karanhi, unless you really want to do Setu Bandha. So come down onto your back. Just pull your knees in towards your chest. Hold onto the edges of the mat, and then lengthen your legs up into the air for Viparita Karanhi. Just breathing evenly, deeply, extending the legs towards the ceiling. Just listen to the sound of the breath, drawing the abdomen towards the spine, keeping the sacrum spine pressing into the floor. If you want a period, don't stay with your legs in the air for too long, just a couple of moments. Just lift the legs towards the ceiling. So a gentle inversion, just to ground the body and the mind, supporting the immune system. Okay, and then just gently bend your knees, bring the feet down onto the floor. So have a little, just pull your knees in towards your chest, just have a little rock side to side from top to bottom. And then rock yourself up into a seated position, and then get your blanket for your head. Just lay yourself down in a good straight line right down the center of your mat. Just make sure that the equipment isn't in the way. Take your glasses off if you're wearing them. And then just allow the body, just make sure you're in a really good straight line, and allow the body to release completely into the floor. Just let the legs let go, unhooking the muscles of the legs, unhooking the muscles of the arms. Just allow the body to become heavy on the floor. As you allow the body to release into the floor, allow your energy to rise to the top of the skin. Using your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of lightness down to the tips of the toes, into the tips of the fingers, into the top of the head. Basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. And when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, just pull your knees in towards your chest, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. Just get hold of your feet and just go into happy baby. Just pulling the feet down to the floor, just giving yourself that space in the hips. And then release, and then rock yourself up into a seated position. And then come into cross legs with your hands in the masti, just a final spinal lift. Just drawing your breath in through your nose and into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions, the forward bends, the twists, the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. And then gently draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then very gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. As you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you really stretched out your legs and your hips and you've kind of opened up your energy to give you lots of good positive energy for the rest of your day. So thank you very much for joining me.